Hi, Tokyo Tops! So we are back again, and we have a very special guest with us!
Oh, hi everyone!
June Lovejoy!
Iつもお世話になっております。
その回ってないです。絶対見てないだろ。
見てます。Because Angie knows me, I only watch straight porn. I don't watch gay porn at all.
Yeah.
My first June video, コウジさん。
コウジさん I love コウジさん Fix my air conditioner
He was telling me, he was like, the way she just says like, Koji-san, Koji-san, Koji-san.
And like in the end, it was like, 汗だくセックスだから I love that. Oh my god, you were so good
I've
at
never
it.
had a gay guy say I watch your porn
And I know your nickname. You 自称
性
性欲化け物
I actually got that from not one but two boyfriends who did not know each other at all and they were like I can't go anymore like you're 性欲化け物
When I look at June,
Okay.
it's like the pure innocent.
There's a gap.
Yes, and that's very important to me in my in everything that I do with content. Because I think people have like a lot of ideas of what a porn actress is supposed to look like, be like, act like. I want to do porn and be super kinky, but I don't want to have to dress in a way that they expect. Like I like wearing my frumpy used clothes from I don't know what's it called, secondhand street or something.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, we're all multifaceted.
Yes, but I get a lot of weird comments that are like,
Oh, I love June because she doesn't look like a porn star. She's not trashy. She doesn't have tattoos.
but like I love women
Yeah.
with tattoos so much, like one of my biggest kinks. And I hate it when people like put me on like a pedestal where they're like, she's so clean and so pure. But I'm like, I eat butthole. Like,
I feel like that's also like an Eastern and Western difference. You know, like the Western porn star are usually big boob, plastic surgery,
Yeah,
and big
filler.
lips. But I feel like in Japan they have there's an innocent, like you can
Right.
be different genre as well. I mean, there are people like more out there like
Yes.
お姉ちゃんみたいな
right. They'll use me as like I don't fought like an argument piece. Of like, oh, why can't all like actresses be like non-tattoo and non-dyed hair? And I'm like, no. That's hot. Let them do
Yeah.
that. Let them do that, please. You can eat a lot of different dishes for your nightly dinner.
Buffet.
Buffet. I don't want everyone to be
Yeah.
a white chubby girl with
Yeah.
blonde hair. That would be boring.
Yeah.
I worked at a very corrupt company and for like 2.5 years suffered and I worked overtime like every single day. So I couldn't go on dates, I couldn't have sexy time. And I was getting like really pent up. I didn't want to like do it myself anymore. Especially I really wanted to have sex with women and there was no way that I could like do that. I would watch or read a lot of like lesbian porn. And when I saw like people banging on camera, I was like, I want to bang women on camera. So nothing super deep. It was literally, I just want to fuck. And I work in a bad environment, so if I'm gonna be fucked by my boss, I might as well get fucked on camera. Like,
Wait, did you fuck by your boss?
I didn't. I like getting fucked by your boss, like
Like fucked over.
figuratively.
Yeah.
I did feel like I felt I'd be more protected because like my boss in the corrupt company did give a shit about me, but my boss in my agency, even though like I'm doing sex for a living and some people are like, oh, poor June, but my boss has to protect me and make sure I'm having a good time or else I'll quit. So kind of get pampered in that sense.
Yeah, and I guess like 伝わるじゃん if you're not having fun in the videos and stuff like that,
No,
right?
my
So
fans
that's
know.
You must have lots of fun with Koji-san, I can tell. Very directly, you mentioned that you want to have sex with women.
Yes.
So do you identify as a lesbian person or what's your sexual identification?
So the word that I use is queer, but I think it pisses off a lot of people. As a kid, I only liked girls, and that was very stressful for me, and still I have a lot of trauma about that.
Okay.
Because I grew up in a strict Baptist family in the South. So
in the South as well, okay.
Scary, and my first girlfriend and I, very pure, but we were like found out by her mom, and then we were both sent to conversion therapy.
What?
And I never got to see her again until we were 18. I went through that therapy, and then around the time when I was 16, I got, asked out by a guy. And I was like, oh, maybe my parents will be nicer to me if I date him. I'm so sorry if the guy's watching this. But I kind of used him, but it was my first time dating a guy. And then I started dating guys as well. And I like guys, but originally, and even now, I like women more. And I'm very open about that. And my fans are very kind about it. No one's ever like, pick a side. But if people are like, are you bisexual? I don't feel comfortable with that label. And I don't have to pick it if I don't want it. I just pick queer. and then be done there. But I'm not lesbian because I have sex with guys.
It's this weird thing in the community where people, they'll be like, we don't need labels. Labels
Yes,
restrict you.
yes.
And then there's the other people who are like, you can't use that label.
Right,
like
right.
that's our label, and so it's this sort of weird space to be in.
It's the same thing. I'm also vegan, sorry, but
A lot of things.
but
My God, she's queer and she's vegan.
She loves video
I'm
games. She
like-
loves Pokemon.
I'm my Christian mom's worst nightmare. But just it's the same thing with the vegan community. Like there's so many different kinds of vegans, and like, oh, but if you purchase this stuff, then you're not vegan. Like, so I don't even want to call myself vegan at some points because everyone has their own identity. I'm sure with gay too. Like, you're not really gay. if
You're
you
not
do
real
this.
bottom.
You're not real bottom. That's the thing we
It's
get.
annoying.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit.
I believe you've done videos with women.
Yes, I have.
as well.
I have,
So,
yes.
and how do those go?
Can I start with my worst?
Yeah.
So we can end on a good note. Just
Okay,
so we can
okay,
end on a
okay,
good note.
okay.
There are two groups of people, actresses in the industry. Those who are really interested in sex and join because they love sex, like me, or they just want money. Unfortunately, I worked with a girl who was gay for pay, and in Japan, we'd have censorship for our porn. She was like, don't lick me down there. It's gross. Just lick my thigh. No one can tell. And I was like, no, I came here to eat.
This is exactly why I came here.
I was so excited. And that sounds gross, but in
It's
order
not
to
at all.
make a good but like I get comments that are like, oh, you're like fetishizing women, and I'm like, I like women, like.
Yeah, that's totally, that makes
Thank you,
total
thank
makes sense to me.
Can I actually reveal something?
Okay.
As a gay person, I'm very open with my sex life, so I always share with my girlfriends, you know, and they love to listen to it, and they're like also giggle, you know, but then feel like they feel like more open with me. Then they started to share their sex life with me, and I didn't feel comfortable.
Oh.
Oh, I think I remember you telling me. No, I'm
Okay.
totally fine. But I think I remember you telling me about it because
Yeah.
it was like almost odd to hear.
But you like
Women
straight
talking
porn,
about-
but you like straight porn.
That's an
so-
interesting question.
I had this kind of like sexist mind inside of me, and I didn't feel like girls are usually portrayed as innocent or like they shouldn't be talking about sex. So listening my friends talking about sex was a little bit uncomfortable for me. So maybe I think those people also have the same views, and they're like, when you talking about you enjoy like eating pussies.
I love it. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
yeah. So it may trigger some people, you know.
Maybe, yeah, because I mean, this is just my guess, but that sort of idea where it's that very archaic, stupid way of thinking of like men are allowed to go have sex and have sex as much as that image, and you know, girls are just supposed to wait and be virgins at home until they get married, right?
Until I come and you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. And to have someone have a woman come with desire and sex
Right.
desire and to sort of
Yeah.
have these things, it's like, wait, that's not
can't do that.
that's
You
not the
can't do-
script I've been told my whole life, you know.
There was a girl who came from a super homophobic family, and she ran away to Tokyo, and to start her new life, she wanted to do a lesbian film. She didn't want to get into porn, she wanted to do one.
Okay.
And she's super small, like super demure, like very pure, and just soft-spoken, and she's like abused, but she was gay and she wanted to be her true self. I often get called for first-timers for lesbian films because I love women and I'm gentle and kind, even though it's weird because I'm a foreigner, I don't know. I was her first kiss, her first sexual experience,
Wow.
everything. And before the film, we met at the studio and just met each other and talked and like, are you okay with this? Like, what should I do? Is there anything that we should do for preparations? And she's like, no, I'm really happy that my first time gets to be with you. And she did the film. It was very sweet, and then she's gone.
Wow.
I hope she's doing well, but she told me a bunch of private things about how, like, I said, why are you doing this? Like, you're only doing one film. And she's like, this is for me. I want to experience like love with a woman and like understand some things about myself, and then move to Tokyo and be like away from my father. So I hope she's doing well. But that was like the most like heartwarming thing. It didn't sell very well. It wasn't. There was no penetration. Just a very sweet film.
Very soft.
Very
Sensual
soft,
and
yeah.
There's probably something really like fascinating like watching that video, right? Because you're seeing something that's real.
It's real, yeah.
You know what I mean? Someone's first kiss and their first
yeah.
this and that, and it probably has like so much emotion in it and stuff like that. Not like all the fake gay films out there who are like straight guy has gay sex for the first time and they're totally doing it like without no problem, and you're like, I don't think it would get in that easy. initially. Okay, so what's the best?
Oh, best is there was a girl named sexuality, and she's appeared on my channel a lot. She's super kinkster. When I arrived on set, she like took my hands and she's like, I wanted to meet you forever. I'm your biggest fan. Please fuck me. And I was like, whoa. It was a BDSM film where I'm like a sadist teacher.
Okay.
And afterwards, she was just like, thank you. I'm so happy. I love you so much. Like,
Just like genuinely enjoying sex,
yeah,
you
right?
know?
And
So
that's
it's-
really important to me.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people, maybe people watching, think that like we're like forced to like do this. Like, no, we're a bunch of weirdos, perverts having sex on camera. It's fun. But there are people who do it for money.
Yeah.
And there are people who are tricked into joining the industry. But you don't have to use that narrative on me because I'm enjoying fucking women and fucking dudes on camera.
So you weren't like randomly trafficked to Japan. I mean, you can tell us everything.
I rode Kurofune with Perry and I thought, oh, don't do it.
When you're going on set or this and that, like how are you treated? How in a positive sense, but also a negative sense, or maybe I'm talking out of my ass and it's totally normal and not different at all. But I would imagine,
It's different.
right? It'd be
It has to be.
yeah. How does that? Like, how does it work coming into this industry as a foreigner?
So good side is the industry this is the nicest nicest industry I've ever been in. People are very kind and respectful because you have to be. If we're shitty, like people already think that we're like a dirty dirty industry and we're mean to each other and everyone's traffic.
Everyone's Yakuza.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I thought that everyone was Yakuza when I joined, so I'm just as bad. But we're really kind to each other, open, loving, like we're all in it together. And there's a lot of paperwork. So when I go on set, it's like, oh, good morning, June. So whenever you're ready, let's do the paperwork and then we can get makeup started. And you have to read the contract. You don't just get to say, yes, I read it. You have to verbally say it out loud.
Wow.
Because I would imagine maybe in olden times, maybe the girl was like forced to do it and she's like, yes, I consent. Like, no, you have to read everything and then say that you consent. Bad side, a lot of Japanese people haven't met a foreigner, let alone had sex with them. So sometimes it doesn't bother me as much as it did, but sometimes people are like, oh my God, I get to finally fuck a white girl. And I'm just like, I guess because it's work. If it was a private setting, I would be like, I'm leaving. Like,
It's a weird form of objectification in a way, right?
yeah, but I'm like, but we're turning this into a film for people who are already objectifying me. So, but like the director will be like to the actor who's like, yes, I finally get to fuck a white girl. It's like, yeah, I bet. But how did it feel? Was it awesome?
Oh no!
Are they different down there?
Oh my God,
No,
that's-
really, that's bad.
So
That's
but
bad.
I don't think it comes from a bad. I'm not excusing them.
I know,
don't
I know,
think
I know.
they're like being
That
like.
they're just ignorant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we have the same sort of ignorant comments in America too, where
yeah.
they'll say like, does the what is it? Do the curtains match the drapes or something
yeah.
like that,
Or they're
right?
Like, oh, do black guys feel better?
Yeah.
Like it's just all humans do
Yeah.
that. We're curious about other races.
Yeah.
But it is kind of like, if this was private, I would not like appreciate those comments. But now I just joke. Also, something I have to deal with is like, I'm now like the like, I don't know, token white girl in the industry. So everything I say is like for all Americans. Like, June, what kind of guys do you like? And I'm like, oh, I like body hair. And they're like, all white people like body hair. Or they're like, oh, what? And like, do you like tall guys or short guys? And I'm like, oh, I don't have a preference. And they're like, cool. So no Americans have preference. And I'm like, it's just me.
Yeah,
It's just
we're just representing ourselves, you know?
Right.
Yeah, the same thing.
But
Yeah.
they don't see it that way.
Yeah. So I do want to dig a little bit deeper. So you said like there's a word energy in like the industry. So the company really respect everyone's
Yes.
energy.
Like when we go to studios and get interviewed for certain work, you get a form and your manager is not allowed to be in the room when you fill it out. Yeah. And you select what you can do and what you can't do, and you're never pressured.
Wow.
Ah,
If you can't do it, they're never like, please, come on, we'll pay you a bunch
Oh,
of
that's
money. Please,
really
please,
good.
please." Yeah.
so they want like slipper in like some really sneaky deals where like, oh, actually on the set.
Oh, like
I thought you
surprise
were
her.
with it.
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah.
I've never been asked that. No, because they can get sued big time. Not by my agency, but by companies that were made or companies
That were made to
groups
protect or
that are made to protect AV actresses. Yeah, and every contract that we sign, that group's link, phone number, and contact information is all included. And they're like, if you are being forced. Like,
Wow.
because we
Call
receive
this,
it, right?
yeah.
Like, call us immediately
take it
and we'll
home.
come. Yeah,
And the company will get punished like, oh, that's over.
They'll get obliterated. There's
Okay.
no way. But it's definitely cleaner than I thought it would be. I was like, sometimes I'm like, I just want to get started and I have to deal with a 5-page contract. I'm like, oh God, it's the same one every single time. Why do I have to do it? But the company, even if I've worked with them tons of times, the studio's like, there's no, like, June, we love you, but there's no way that we're filming until you finish this contract.
Wow.
Like, it's to protect them. Because afterwards, the actors can be like, I was forced to do this. I didn't
Yeah.
hear about it. And they can, they're done.
Okay. Yeah.
There's no more industry for them.
相手選べる.
It depends on the film. But when we get work, they're like, are there any actors or the actresses that you want to work with? And I typically give like the names. I recently did Anal for the first time, and they're like, this is all about you. We want to make you as comfortable as possible. What actors do you want? And I got to send the little list. And it was like I was princess for the day, and I got my favorite actors with me. It was very nice.
I want to know you by you.
Oh.
What do you do outside? What do you like?
I like hiking.
You like
Hiking?
hiking?
I love hiking.
Mount Takao and
Let's go.
stuff?
Yes, it's my favorite.
Oh, okay,
one.
okay. Okay,
no,
let's
I
go.
can't. You guys can go. You guys can make a vlog out of it.
Oh my God, let's take a vlog. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Where's Meg?
Yeah.
And then like film him relaxing at
Just
home.
realize that he doesn't like leaving the house.
I like being outdoorsy. I used to live in San Diego, so I like kayaking, hiking, cycling. What else? I like reading, so I'm like super boring. Like I do not go to sex parties on my day off because I have sex for a living. So
Yeah.
playing video games, working on my channel, playing with my cats.
Some cats?
You have a cat,
cats.
yeah. One cat or cats?
I have
Two cats.
cats. One I found in the middle of the street, dying. She cost $3,000. I'm not bragging. That was really scary time for me to fix.
Get all the shots.
Get
and
all the
stuff.
shots.
Wow.
She was very sick, and then I have one I adopted from a shelter.
Oh.
And that's actually
lovely.
my dream is to own a cat shelter in Japan.
Well, they're both adopted,
Yeah.
you know,
They're
in that
both
way.
adopted. Yeah, in that way,
Yeah.
I'm also curious, like, what brought you to Japan? You know, like,
oh,
why
yeah.
were you
That's
interested?
oh.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an interpreter, a translator. So when I first moved here, oh God, really don't speak Chinese to me, but I studied Chinese and sign language and Japanese.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I was going to be an interpreter. And I actually did do interpreting, but now I suck dick on camera, so.
Were you interested in Japan then before?
Of course.
Yeah, right?
I've
So
loved
like,
Japan since I was a kid.
Okay.
I didn't know of Japan's existence because Americans are dumb.
she said it, not us.
No, like as a kid, like Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
No 5-year-old watching Sailor Moon or loves Pikachu is like, Japan made Pikachu. Like you don't know
You don't
that.
know
You just
for a
love
long-
Japan
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Like
And then-
Sony, Nintendo, I'm obsessed. But I wasn't like, Japan.
Yeah.
But then I think when I was like 10, I had a Japanese friend. She couldn't speak English, but she'd be like, June, eat. And do her best to communicate her culture with me. And from there, I was like, oh, this is where all the things I love come from.
I see.
Yeah. And I obsessed, love Japan. I'm glad I moved here. Yes, there's bad things, but I think life in Japan suits me more than life in America, for sure.
So what are some difficulties about being a AV Joyu in Japan?
So one of your videos that my fans really like is how to get a house as a foreigner.
Eh?
They said that was really informative, so thank
As
you
a
for
gay
putting-
couple, by the way.
Oh,
Oh, they liked it. Oh,
When I
okay.
shared you guys, they were like, oh, this video was so good. So good job.
Oh, thank you.
And on that note, for me, getting housing as a foreigner was hard enough before I was a porn actress. Now that I'm in it, and I have to say what I do for a living, foreigner plus porn actress is not a good combination. So I applied to, I think 3 places. I made enough money to afford the place, but I still got rejected. And I don't know if I should say this, but my agency helped me get housing. And if I didn't have an agency, I would not been able to get housing. So I don't know how freelancers do
Like
it.
OnlyFans or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe they do. Maybe they're Japanese. That helps, you
Oh,
know.
okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I have 2
it's a
red
You have
shit.
2,
I have
yeah, that's
2.
true.
It's a
Not
2
only
combination.
in porn actress, but you're also foreign.
Yeah. I feel like that's one thing. Or sometimes they can like live with their parents, or
that's true.
yeah, another
you're right.
thing. But I think it's foreigner plus
Yeah.
your adult video, you know, Joyu.
Right.
So that's like hard plus hard. So it's
Right,
gonna
right,
be
right.
limited option. I think there's still option because you're not homeless right now.
Yeah, no,
Right. So
but I had to get my agency to work with their landlord, or realtor, in order to like make some. I don't know if they lied, but I'm living in an apartment now,
Yeah.
so thank you guys. But it was really frustrating in the beginning.
I think the thing that's super frustrating about that is like you can prove I have the money, it's stable, yeah, like this is coming in, I can afford this.
A year in advance, whatever you want. Let me have a place to sleep.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
This was a lot of fun. I want to do it again. Let's do it again.
We're gonna do another vlog.
Yeah, vlog or drinking.
Definitely.
Yes.
Or
yes.
Wild One.
All of it.
We're gonna do lots of things together.
I would love to go with you guys to Wild One.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Follow her on all the socials.
I'm waiting for you.
And let us know what you think in the comments. And we will see you next week.
Bye, Koji-san.
Bye, Tokyo Talks.
Bye, Tokyo Town.